In this video, I'm going to share a couple tips on how to introduce yourself in American Sign Language. So first off, when you're finger spelling and you are introducing yourself, you want to make sure that your hand stays at your side. So you're not going to be holding it up here or down. You don't want your elbow out or forward. It's simply going to be kind of the idea of if you were going to do a bicep curl this way, you're going to just lift up your arm, turn it forward, and that's where you're going to be. Your hand doesn't need to be tight or your fingers tucked in for any of these things. You're just going to flow very smoothly. I always tease my students and say, pretend that you just stuck your arm in concrete and then for the most part leave it there. Your hands can turn a little bit as you have maybe a layer that turns or a layer that goes to the side. It's okay to have a little bit of movement, but for the most part, you're going to stay here. If you need to while you're practicing, you can always find a surface. I can use my leg. You could use a table that you're practicing on or a desk. Put your hand there and practice the movement of doing it this way so that you don't get used to bouncing your hand up and down. So as you finger spell, you want to go very smoothly. So if I'm going to do my first name, Courtney. So as I do that, you notice that my hand isn't bouncing around, it doesn't move, I'm not pushing it forward, I'm simply resting it just at my side. Normally is how I'm doing it. I'm putting it up here just for emphasis, but I'm going to just go here and just gently put it there. I'm not going to stamp each of the letters forward like this. I'm simply going to have it here resting at my side, and all of the letters just kind of blend gently together, though they're all still clear. Think about it more like a cursive handwriting rather than like you're stamping each and every single one of the letters. Also, when you are signing or when you are spelling your name, you can close your mouth. You don't need to mouth everything because what you are actually signing will be sufficient enough to be able to be understood. So it's true that some people choose to mouth while they sign. Because I'm an interpreter, a lot of the people that I sign with and a lot of the people I interpret for do use their voice, or they do choose to read lips, and so they would prefer that I actually speak, which is why I actually use my voice a lot of times, or that you'll see I generally what they call mouth as I'm signing. So all of these things kind of play into that. Some people prefer that you don't mouth every single word. That's not good ASL. There's differing opinions on that, so you can just match whoever you're around. But for the most part, you can keep your mouth closed, and then that way your mouth is able to do mouth morphemes, which we'll learn about later on in this class. So what else did I need to cover here? Was something else that was very important. Okay, so as you are finger spelling, then rather than naming each of the letters that you're finger spelling, because generally we think, okay, my name, C-O-U, you don't want to do that. You want to think through the letters as if you are sounding them out. So instead of going C-O-U, because did you see what my hand did there? As you think, you go forward and you do it kind of in pulses this way, but that's not how you want to finger spell. You want to finger spell your name and you want to be very fluid, and also it will help your brain and your muscle to connect as you're saying it smoothly. It will make your signing very smooth as well. So whenever I finger spell in my name, I'm going to go Courtney. Okay, my name is not one of the most smooth to finger spell like some others are, but I still can make it into a smooth movement as I think through sounding out my name. So you're not actually going to go Courtney as you sign, but I could either choose to mouth it and go, or I could go and sound it out in my head, but just make sure that you're not spelling it. Also, whenever we're first learning to introduce ourselves and first learning to sign, we typically go, hello, my name is... Okay, and we tend to look up, we tend to look away, but in American Sign Language, one of the main things that we're going to be focusing on is eye contact. So you notice I'm very good with eye contact with the camera for the most part. So this is something that you learn to practice. You learn to say that this is a cultural norm when communicating with deaf people or hard of hearing people. So I'm going to be looking straight at the person and talking to them. So this isn't weird. I'm not like staring at you. We're not having a staring contest, any of those things that make it kind of awkward in our culture. This is just because the only way that you can get get information is by having that eye contact. So you are able to break the eye contact sometimes, but it can also be rude if you're breaking the eye contact. So when you introduce yourself, you want to be looking at the person, or in this case, the camera, in order to be able to have your introduction be clear and show that you're engaged in the conversation, and see if they're understanding you, to know that they're nodding in acknowledgement, things like that, that they're understanding. So whenever you do your introduction, you'll go hello. Okay, so make sure that your fingers are together. First of all, your thumb is either in a little bit, or it can be forward, or it can be slightly off to the side, is fine. Okay, so you're going to go here, and it's going to go forward. I see a lot of students try and go out to the side. Don't think of it going out to the side. Think of it more like a military salute. So you're going forward, hello. Okay, and then my is just going to be your closed, like your fingers are close together, and it's going to be your hand on your chest open this way. My name, you're going to do you. So make sure that your thumbs are pulled in, they're not sticking out. Thumbs, okay. Name, and it's only the top finger that's moving. Name, okay. In ASL, we don't use function words, so you would not sign or spell is. You would simply go to the next word. Okay, so my name, and then I would finger spell Courtney. And then you're going to, from here, okay, so as I do it, I'm going to spell my name. As I slow it down, I make mistakes, okay? And then I'm going to hold the last letter here until I move to the next letter. Because if I go like this and I close my hand to rest, I just added Courtneya to the end of my name, which is not my name. So make sure you end with the last letter, pause for like a half a second, and then move over just a little bit. And then at that point, then you will finger spell your last name. And then you'll hold the last letter of that for just a second, and then put your hand down. Okay? And then you can go your, okay, so flat hand. So this is possessive. It's my name. It's your name. So possessive is the flat hand open. Okay? Your name, what? And as we sign what, we're going to scrunch our eyebrows, because scrunching your eyebrows shows the WH question. So it's the proper way to use who, what, where, when, why, how many, how much, all of those, okay? So your name, what? Okay, now notice I'm not upset, I'm not mad, I'm not being grouchy. This isn't rude. It's just simply asking what your name is. That's the proper sentence structure. It's actually part of the sentence structure. So make sure when you make your videos, you really emphasize the scrunching of your eyebrows, okay? Think of it more like a detective. Who? What? Okay, think of Sherlock Holmes or Benedict Cumberbatch, okay? So be thinking, not that they're mad, just that they're, thinking who or what is your name, okay? So your name, what? Okay? And then whenever the person signs their name, then you are going to spell it back to them, okay? So if I sign then you are going to introduce yourself. You're going to say, nice to meet. Okay, this is a person, your dominant hand, the one that you finger spell with, is going to stay closest to your body, and this is the other person representing you or that person. Okay, meet, and they're both standing up, they both come together. I kind of pull my thumbs to the side a little bit, or you can keep them together, but make sure it's a 1, not a D, because D is date. Ones are just people walking up to each other, okay? Notice both people are standing up, their heads don't crash into each other or anything like that. So, okay, so I would say it's nice to meet you. Okay, so this is the personal pronoun rather than the your, which is the possessive. So you. Nice to meet you. Alrighty, and then I will spell back that person's name. So I would say, whenever the person introduces themselves, hello, my name, Courtney. Nice to meet you. Your name, what? It'll go, hello, Courtney, or my last name since I forgot it. Nice to meet you. My name, and then you'll introduce yourself from that, and then I'll go, nice to meet you, or I can say, nice to meet you too, or same, or likewise, or I can just go, same. Okay, so there are some tips for your introduction. I think that's all the ones I can think of, but if I think of any more, then I will make a follow-up video. Have a good night. I'm so excited to see all of your introductions. Bye!